What's going on, everyone? Oh, here we are again. It's a beautiful day here, mid-November. Today is the 20th, 2016. So, it ain't snowing here in central Iowa. It's a still relatively warm day. It's about 37, 38 degrees out. So, take advantage of this nice, cool autumn day and wrenching on the Cummins again. A couple videos ago, I was talking about upgrading some of the components here. So after doing a little bit of more research and digging, one of the ways that you can very easily add between 25 and 40 horsepower in one of these old 6BT Cummins, depending on which route you want to go, is to upgrade the AFC, or air fuel control pin. It is located underneath this cap here. Now, I want to stress right now that if you do not know your way around one of these injector pumps, I would very, very strongly advise you to not go any further than this setting. The reason is because if you're not familiar with what you're doing, you can knock something out of calibration. You could create a runaway, which means that you start the engine up and the pump starts pushing so much fuel into the engine that even when you shut off the key, the engine continues to run, and unless you have your air cleaner and your intake right there removed, the engine will just speed out of control, only slow down in its speed by the governor spring, and it can very quickly cause extensive engine damage. So if you don't know what you're doing with these injector pumps, don't go any deeper than this right here. However, even the person with some of the most limited mechanical skills should be able to perform this upgrade. What I will do, which will go further into detail here, because there's been multiple different individuals who have covered this particular step, so I'm not going to get too deep in the weeds here, but essentially you take off these 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. You take off this clamp here. This allows the boost area, and it comes down through a little air attachment right there. Obviously the air comes into the engine right there. Manifold here comes out of there down into here. Underneath this thing is a gasket with a spring and your fuel pin. And what happens is as boost pressure increases on the engine, it pushes the fuel pin down, which allows the pump to produce more fuel pressure going out here to your various injector lines. This is what your fuel pin looks like. Kind of hard to do holding the camera. Okay. This is the upgraded fuel pin that I just got from the good folks at Denny T Performance. I'll also post a link to their site here on the video description. As you can see, this notched end actually goes this way in the pump, so it goes in that way. So this is towards the front of the engine. So what happens is as the boost pressure builds, this pin gets pushed down, and there's a pin that's inside the injector pump that rides on this cammed profile here. They make 2 different pins. This is the stage 1 pin, simply because with the stock turbo, stock bottom end, stock valves, I don't need to get too hog wild with it. Of course, in the future, I'm going to upgrade to an HX35 or maybe even HX40 turbocharger. Because the secret to diesels is in the fuel. The power's in the fuel, but of course you got to have the air to burn the fuel. So this is stage 1 pin. It's supposed to give me anywhere between 20 and 30 horsepower over stock, which is going to be plenty for my use. If I want a little bit more, I can go with the stage 2 pin. You can get up to 40 horsepower. This is from Denny T. You can also get one from M&H Inc. A gentleman that hosts a YouTube channel, The Diesel Stop, is who I actually got the inspiration to do this from. But the good folks at Denny T Performance, I ordered this pin, a week and a half ago, a little over 10 days. And the website says 3 to 5 business days. So I called them up and says, hey, I placed this order and I haven't gotten my pin yet. And the nice lady I spoke with looked into it, and she says, oh my gosh, yeah, you're right. It got hung up here in Dallas, Fort Worth. So if you don't have your pin by Monday, give us a call back. We'll send you out another one. Well, I got my pin, so I'm just going to tell them, like, hey, I got my pin. But she's like, well, we're going to go ahead and refund you some of your money there for your patience and your waiting, because you should have had that in 3 to 4 days, and it's been almost 2 weeks. So hats off there to the outstanding customer service with Denny T Performance. I look forward to doing business with them in the future. Of course, obviously, I'm recommending them. But this is a single piece. They machine these in their shop. This is a nice single piece. That's number 1 there, obviously, for stage 1. So I'm going to go ahead and get this installed, and then I might show another quick video of the difference here. One thing on this, when you do this, there are 2 gaskets that, or not gaskets, but washers that are inside of this banjo screw here, or whatever the proper term for this thing is. There's one here, because here's the nut. There's one right there, you can barely see it, and then there's one right here on the pump. Do not lose those. They're a pain in the butt to get a replacement for, and they're metric. So do not lose them. The other thing you're going to want to do, again, and this is why I'm going to post a link to the Diesel Stops video on his adjustment of his AFC, is underneath that there is a star wheel that I believe you want to, there's a set number of turns that you're going to want to turn that down. That will allow this fuel pin to fully travel. And there's a couple of things you can do. There's you can do some machining. I'm not going to get into all that. I'm just simply doing this to allow a little bit more fuel to come on a little bit earlier, a little bit more aggressively than the stock fuel pin. I'll go ahead and post some pictures as well in the description. So if anybody has any questions on this, I highly encourage you to look at the Diesel Stops video, because he actually does this on a couple different trucks. He does it on this one truck that's a regular cab truck with no bed on it for an engine that he's building, and he also has one where it's out of the truck, where he goes into a little bit more details, how you can adjust your smoke screw and a couple other adjustments. Again, I am not comfortable doing that. I'm not going to fool with it. I'm not going to get into it that deep. So all right, well, I'm going to have to go ahead and shut the camera off, guys. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this AFC fuel pin installed here. And then I will go ahead and comment on any issues or concerns I had throughout that. Oh, another thing that the Diesel Stop recommends is when you do one of these, you also change out your governor spring. I'm going to go ahead and leave that stock for now. I'm going to go ahead and get this fuel pin in and then take it for a drive and kind of do the seat of the pants dyno assessment on what this, if any, improvement. So stand by, and thanks for watching.